Right. Good morning, everybody. Today, actually, I think today's Daf, maybe Lamates, but we're going ahead. We're finishing up Daf Mem. We're going to do Mem Aleph today. It's Hashem to start a little bit of Mem Beis on this final day of the Jewish year. I want to wish all a Chasim Tova and a good Gevent Yor. For it should be a year of only good things. We should be out of this machla. We should be no longer know and be able to once again be close together without masks and learn together, Mitzvah Shem. So we got to the bottom of Mem Amud Beis, 3 lines from the bottom. Omer Rabba. So says Rabba, Ki avina be Rav Huna iboilon. When I was by the house of Rav Huna, so the question was asked, Bar be Rav Diyasi batanisa b'mali shabasa. So another child was asked. We didn't really touch on this. Let's say, speaking of which, maybe, perhaps, some of us, a person is taking a tinus. He has a personal tinus. Let's say he has a cholom, some sort of dream or something, bad dream, and he wants to go ahead and do a tinus. Several reasons why a person would do a private tinus, but he does a private tinus on Erev Shabbos. So, mahu leshlume. Can you go ahead and take the fast into the Shabbos? Basically, start your Shabbos while fasting. Or do we basically say, hey, you have to eat something before the fast is over in order not to go ahead and go into Shabbos completely starved? So lo havi biyadeh, he didn't know the answer. So also the command Rav Yehuda came for Rav Yehuda. Lo havi biyadeh, once again, Rav Yehuda did not also know the answer. So Amar Rava nichse anam. Well, let's see. We learned the Tani. We learned our Baisa. Tisha B'av shechaliyas b'Shabbos. If you have Tisha B'av that falls out on Shabbos, v'chein. And so too, Erev, remember to put yourself on mute. Erev Tisha B'av shachal liyos b'Shabbos. So too, Erev Tisha B'av, right? Erev Tisha B'av shachal liyos b'Shabbos. They came on Shabbos. In other words, basically, the fast day is going to be on Sunday. Eichel the sheisa kol tzarcho u'malal shechana afilu kasuda shlomo b'shato. Go ahead, eat and drink whatever you'd like, right? You can eat and drink as much as you want on Shabbos. On Shabbos, you can even eat like Shlomo Melech, all right? And you can do that. So Chali is Tisha B'av Erev Shabbos, and therefore also if Tisha B'av, the fast day falls out on Erev Shabbos on Friday, so you go over there, and basically at the end of the end of Shabbos, he should go ahead and basically eat something right before Shabbos in order that he doesn't go into Shabbos starving. And Tanya, by the way, we don't have Tisha B'av ever fall out on Friday. The only fast I think we have that falls out on Friday is Sarbat Tevis. Anyway, Tanya, so on that, Amar Rabbi Yehuda Pamach. So now, so we see from here that one should go ahead and break their fast right before, so that L'chara should answer the question. So we are 6 lines from the top. So Tanya, Amar Rabbi Yehuda Pamachas, Hayinu Yoshin Lifnei Rabbi Kiva. One time we were sitting for Rabbi Kiva with Tisha B'av Shachal Yesber Shabbos, and it was Tisha B'av that came out on a Friday. And he basically, before the end of Friday, right before Shabbos started, he brought out basically an egg, and he went ahead and he ate it without salt. He didn't really prepare it, right? He did it. And not because he was so hungry, he couldn't fast, right, any much longer. Rather to go ahead and show the Talmidim that one should go ahead and not fast into Shabbos, at least eat something. And how the Talmidim halacha, right? How is the Talmidim halacha? And he wanted to show the Talmidim halacha. You break the fast. Rabbi Yosi Aimer misana umashlim. And Rabbi Yosi, we're soon going to see, is the other opinion. Rabbi Yosi holds that you do not. In other words, that you fast completely into Shabbos, right? If it's a fast day, then you can fast into Shabbos. So I'm going to learn Rabbi Yosi. Rabbi Yosi says that you guys at least submit to me. Let's say a fast day falls out on Sunday. That we go ahead and we start, in other words, before Shabbos is over, right? We remember, Shabbos ends, let's say 40 minutes or whatever, 72 minutes, whatever you want to say, after sunset. But we don't start the fast 72 minutes after sunset, right? We start the fast at sunset. So you're actually sort of beginning your fast on Shabbos. So since you begin your fast on Shabbos, they said, yes, yeah, true. So now we said back to them. So Mali the Kanis Bak Shumuna, Mali Lates Mimena Shumuna. So I don't understand. What's the difference whether you end Shabbos while fasting, i.e., because the fast day is on Sunday, or you start Shabbos while fasting because, right, you're fasting from Friday and you have to wait a certain zman and you start Shabbos before then. Shamaloi said to them, it's different, right? Because if you start your fast early, you've been eating and drinking all day. So you're not ruining, right, your Oneg Shabbos, right? You're beginning your fast the last 45 minutes. I'm sure most people, right, can't look at food at the last 45 minutes of Shabbos, right? But when you start Shabbos after not eating and drinking all day, so then you're sort of you're ruining your Shabbos, right? So V'amar Ula, and says on that Ula, he says halacha k'Rabbi Yosi. Halacha is like Rabbi Yosi that we go ahead and you complete the fast into Shabbos, right? So no, how do you complete the Shabbos? Because remember, we start, let's say Shabbos, at sunset or 20 minutes before sets is lich benching, and fast don't end till, let's say, Kins ends their fast at 30 minutes afterwards, right? Some people wait, 48 or 42 minutes or whatever it is, 51, whatever it is. So, but it's an hour later, so you fast into it. So the question is, we have dinner Rabbi Yosi. Do we hold like Rabbi Yosi? But I mean, I say kasha en geizrin tanis al tzibur b'reish chadash v'Chanukah v'Purim. We don't go ahead and establish any fast on the tzibur. Let's say there's no rain or bad things are coming on. We don't have public fasts on the tzibur, not on Rosh Chodesh, Chanukah, or Purim. However, if they started, let's say they established it, and a series of fasts. Let's say every Monday and Thursday for a certain amount of period of time, and they didn't realize it falls out either on Rosh Chodesh, Chanukah, or Purim. So you don't stop in Divrei Gamliel. I'm a Meir. Even though he says you don't stop it, you don't go ahead mashlim it. You don't finish it and complete it and go into the day. And so too, and Tisha B'av Shechali is Bershav. So Tisha B'av that falls on Friday, you're not mashlim. So you see over here clearly over here. How could you say the halachas like Rabbi Yosi that you're mashlim? We see over here that you're not mashlim. Tisha B'av that goes into Shabbos. The Tanya la'achar patira, and also we learned the Bryce la'achar patira. So shall Rabban Gamliel, right? After after Rabban Gamliel passed away, Nichlas Rabbi Shul la'afir as devar. Rabbi Shul wanted to go ahead and uproot basically the halacha that was like him. Amar Rabbi Yechim Menuri, Raglav. However, Rabbi Yechim Menuri stood up on his feet. Amar Chazi Ana the Basa Reisha Gufa Azav. You see by me, right? The head follows the body. So call you knows you should follow the head and call Yom Avshel Rabbi Gamliel Kavah Halach Kamaso. As long as Rabbi Gamliel was alive, the halach was always like him. So Achshav Atam Avakish Lavatel Devarab. Now you want to go ahead and say the halacha is not like him anymore because he's not around. That's not right, right? Yeshua ain't shem lecha, right? Yeshua, we're not going to go ahead and listen to you. Shekfar nikva halacha because halacha has already been established like Rabbi Gamliel. However, even though he said that, v'lo haya adam she'era b'davar klum b'daro sherav Gamliel. Excuse me. Adam Shira B'davar Klum, right? However, over here, there was nobody basically who didn't hold like him. Basically, everyone held that halacha, you should be mashlim, but no one went ahead and reestablished halacha not like Rabbi Gamliel. And it was said, Ubedoro shel Rabbi Gamliel, Avud Rabbi Gamliel. In the generation of Rabbi Gamliel, they went like Rabbi Gamliel. In other words, they were not mashlim a fast into Shabbos. And B'doro shel Rabbi Yosi, Avud Rabbi Yosi. And how in the generation later on, in the generation of Rabbi Yosi, then they did like Rabbi Yosi. And you're saying during the generation of Rabbi Gamliel, they basically did not finish their fast like Rabbi Gamliel. I am from the family of Sinav ben Binyamin. And it was a family who celebrated a personal holiday because they had the wood for the Mizbeach, and their private holiday was the 10th of Av. Okay, so Pamachas Chal Tisha B'Av L'Yois B'Shabbos. One time, the 9th of Av came out on Shabbos, so therefore you push off the fast until Sunday, which was our holiday. V'dachinu li'achar HaShabbos v'yisinu bo v'lo yishteminu mipnei sheyantav shalanu. And what did they do? So they pushed it off after Shabbos, but however, they didn't go ahead, right? They didn't finish the fast. They didn't fast completely, right? Because it was a yontif for us. So they didn't fast the complete Sunday until after the fast was over. They ended early. So Tamad Yontif Haya Erev Yontif. Mashlim. The only reason is because so it's Tamad Yontif Tamad Yontif, right? It sounds like only because it was their Yontif, Erev Yontif. But if the fast was just on the Erev Yontif, like a standard week, right, where it was, let's say, in Tuesday, and their fast day was Wednesday, or beginning Tuesday night into Wednesday, Erev Yontif, Mashlimin, it sounds like they would be Mashlim. So now it's only because it was our actual holiday, right, that they broke the fast a little bit. But if it was just led into our Yontif, then you'd be Mashlim. So what do you see over here? You see over here that you're Mashlim into a Yontif. So the halacha is not like Rama Gamliel. Some Ravino Shana Yontav Shel Divrayim. No. Since their holiday, their personal family holiday, was only a Yontav Shel Divrayim. It was only a Yontav Derabanan. Mitoch Shemas Ani B'Shos. Since over there you can go ahead and you're allowed to go ahead and fast for hours during a private Yontav. Mashlim B'Arabiyah. So therefore they're mashlim the full fast, right? However, Shabbos, but when it comes to Shabbos, however, Shabbos, you can't have a partial Shabbos as a fast day. So therefore, we don't go ahead and fast into the evening there. So in other words, it's not a good proof, right? That over there is different. Maybe on their private yontifs, then you can go ahead and fast into it. But when it comes to Shabbos, since we never even have a partial fast on Shabbos, you don't go ahead and fast into Shabbos like Rabban Gamliel. And Amar Rav Yosef, it says Rav Yosef, Lo Shmili Ha Shmaitz. I never heard this limud, that which Ula passing like Rav Yosef. Amar Le Abayi. So Martin Niglon. Actually, you were the one who told us this halacha. V'Aha Martin, and you actually told us on this. So halacha ain't goes in Tanas Al Tzibur Rosh Chodesh Mechule. Right? You say we don't go ahead and we're goes our Tanas on Rosh Chodesh, right? On Chanukah and Purim. Right, I'm reading a line. So there, Amar Rav Yehuda, Amar Rav, Zoydi Rav Meir, bin Rav Meir, Sha'amar Mishum Rav Gamliel, who says the name of Rav Gamliel, that you don't go ahead and fast into it. Avachami Ma'ivrim Misana Mashla. And however, the Chachamim say you can go ahead and you can go ahead and fast and be mashla. So my love Akulu is not going on all the days, including even into Shabbos. This is low. Chanukah Purim. Now only into Chanukah and Purim. Now, as Chanukah and Purim, you can go ahead and be mashlam. But maybe when it comes to Shabbos, maybe Shabbos is different. And hachinami mistaver, this is also logical. Say, if you think it's going on all of them, in other words, even on Friday into Shabbos, Rabbi asked Rabbi Yehuda, and he didn't answer the question. He says, what's halacha when it comes to fasting the Shabbos? He didn't answer. But if over here, when it says you're allowed to go ahead and you can't be misana, right? When it says over there, that you could be misana mashlim into, if that includes Shabbos, he should have answered, but he didn't answer. So it must be it was only going on Chanukah Purim. It wasn't talking about Friday into Shabbos, whether you can fast into that. So he said, Ayu Tamech, and according to you, Hadadarish Marzutra, that which Mishmei de Rav Huna, he said in the name of Rav Huna, Hilchasa, the halacha, misano mash. The halacha is you can go ahead and fast and finish the fast on Friday into Shabbos. Hi, oh boy, Rav Huna. But how did Rav Huna say that halacha? Didn't Rabbi ask a question for Rav Huna? He asked him this exact question. He didn't answer. Sailor, what was the reason? It must be that the reason why he didn't answer is because before he learned this brisa, but once after he heard it, then he would have been able to go ahead and answer it. And Alchinami, so too in our case, so too, one was before he saw the brisa that says you could you're mashlim into Friday, and then one was afterwards. And Darish Marzutra Mishmei Rav Huna halacha, the halacha is misanim mashlim. Halacha is even like nowadays we have, like I mentioned before, when you have a Sarah Batavis fall out on a Friday into Shabbos, we actually do go ahead and basically break our fast on Shabbos with our kiddush. And the halacha is that you do fast and you complete the fast into Shabbos. Hadr lach b'chol ma'ariv. So Mazel Tov on finishing the third parak of Maseches Eruvin. Now we shall begin the fourth parak. So the fourth parak says, Mi shaitziu nachrim or ruach ra.
Semitayv, Mazel Tov,
Mazel Tov,
Semitayv, Mazel Tov, Mazel Tov, Semitayv, Mazel Tov, Mazel Tov, Semitayv,
yeah. All right, Shkayach. All right, now. So starting the Mishnah, now we go back at new mode, right? New subject when it comes to Eruvin. Now we discuss a person when he leaves the Tchum. All right. When a person leaves the Tchum, what is the halacha, right? We know a person is only allowed to go ahead. Let's say he's in the city, he can only go within the city limits or 2,000 amos beyond the city. And let's say he's not in the city, so he has a makom, right? A makom shvisa that he has 2,000 amos in all directions. So mishotzu nachrim. Let's say nachrim took him out, right? Nachrim took him out. Oh, ruach ra. Or basically an evil spirit, an evil spirit took him over, and that basically caused him to go ahead and leave. Ein lo ela dal amos. Once you leave, you have to stay where you are. You only have 4 amos around you. If the Nachrim or the Ruach Ra return him, Kilu lo yatsa, it was like he never went out. Now, since they took him out against his will, and they returned him against his will, it's like he never left, and he still gets his 2,000 amos, right? But, right? So so let's say they took him to another city, right? They took him, they kidnapped him, they took him to another city. That's no Badir, or they placed him in a pen of basar, an area that's enclosed. Machlekes. Rabbi Gamliel of Rabbi Elazar ben Azariah, Rabbi Gamliel of Rabbi Elazar ben Azariah, they said Mahalech as kula. Since they put him in a private domain in some sort of fenced-in area, so he's allowed to walk within this private domain. He can go ahead and be out. He doesn't just have Dalet Amos, even though he didn't start there on Shabbos. Since he was brought there against his will, he gets 2,000 Amos. And however, Rabbi Shua, Rabbi Akiva, ain lo elo Dalet Amos. He only has Dalet Amos, just like if he's outside the Tchum, you only have Dalet Amos. So over here, they put him in a new place. He only gets Dalet Amos. And Ma'isa Shabo mi pal darsin v'ifliga b'sfinasa b'yom. One time there was a Ma'isa that they were coming from this place of Pal Darsin, right? And the ship went out in the sea, out in the sea, right? And those they took off on their voyage. They started the Shabbos in the port, and then it sailed off. They went throughout the entire boat. Even though, despite it was more than 2,000 amos from beyond where they started, but since it was in this closed structure, i.e., the boat, and even though it was 5,000 amos away from the port, it was okay because they were in this closed structure, and it went out against their will. And Rabbi Shua, Rabbi Kiva, however, Rabbi Shua and Rabbi Kiva did not go ahead and leave because they wanted to be machmer upon themselves and only stick to Dalet Amos. And one time there's another ma'aseh where they're this time they were sailing into the port, but I guess it was delayed. They're supposed to get there before Shabbos started, and they got there on Shabbos. So I'm going to go there and listen. Are we allowed to get off? You can't, because when Shabbos was starting, I saw where we were. I saw the port, and I saw we were already within the Tchum, and therefore we were able to go ahead. We were there before it got dark. Fine. So let's see the Gemara. First, a little separate matter. So right? 3 things basically remove a person against his will, and also against his creator. Right? Goyim could force someone to do something, or some sort of evil spirit. The dikdukde anios, and also a person who's faced with poverty. A person who's faced with poverty, basically, he's his right. It's like was a Maslow's hierarchy, right? A person who wants his own security, he needs his food, right? Person, he's going to die otherwise, so therefore it removes him from his what he wants. So lamai nafkamina, lemiboy rachme aleyu. What's the nafkamina? To go ahead and be mevakesh rachmim, to plead for mercy for him. And Gimel ein roin pnei Gehenim, and these 3 people do not see Gehenim because they already suffered in this world. Elohein dikdukte anios, person who is stricken with poverty, v'cholim ha'ayin, and a person also who has intestinal pains, v'arashus, and I guess people who are basically being chased for creditors throughout their life. Also, that is not a comforting feeling, and there it's like their own personal Gehenim. Some say also even a person who has a bad wife. So why wasn't, according to the opinion, why would Isha Ra not included? So Isha Ra mitzvah lagarsh, because Isha Ra, bad wife, is mitzvah to divorce her. So why don't you divorce her? Why do you say, oh, you're suffering? So remove the suffering. So Zini the kasuva meruba, either because her ksuva is too much, she can't afford it. Inami or Isa banim mina, he has children he has children from her, and he won't be able to take care of them, and therefore he can't divorce her. So lamai nafkamina was nafkamina likabuli me'aba, to be makabel this yisur and the sufferings with love for HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Now, and shloisha matin kashein misaper, and 3 people can die suddenly, even in the middle of talking. Ve'elohein cholim ayin, a person has intestinal some sort of cholim ayin, some sort of disease. V'chaya, or a woman who's given birth, or a drakon, also some type of either mouth or intestinal disease. A person can die. So in order to go ahead and basically prepare shrouds, basically a person can go ahead, or a will or whatever, a person can go ahead and die anytime. And Amar Rav Nachman Amar Shmuel, Yotza. Now let's go back to what we discussed in the Mishnah. All right, so that was right. So it says Rav Nachman Shmuel Yotza Ladas Ein Lo El Arbamos. Person leaves on his own, right? He walks out. No one forced him. He didn't care. He went 5,000 amos, right? 3,000 too much. Stops, realized he was spacing out. Oh my God, what am I doing? So he only has 4 amos. He has to stay till to the end of Shabbos. He can't move more than Daled amos. So he says, Pshita, it's obvious. Hashta Misha Tzina El Daled amos. Yes, I'll das me boy. Our Mishnah said if Goyim took him out and they moved him outside his tchum, he only has Daled amos, right? And so he was forced out. He gets Daled amos. Certainly, if he goes on his own, he only gets Daled amos. So no, maybe meant to teach us this. Person was forced out. Then he was brought back. Right? He came back on his own. Right? So he was forced out, and then he walked back on his own. So maybe he said, I'm back in my tchum. Right? I can go ahead and walk if I want. Halach is you only get Daled amos there. So the one says, Hanami Tanina, right? We can also know that. Why? We get inference from it. So we can look at our Mishnah. It says, Hechzir Nachrim. If the Goyim, they returned him once again, they took him out against his will and brought him back against his will, Kilu Lo Yatsa. It's like he never went. So it sounds like only if they brought him back, it's like he never went, and therefore he still gets his 2,000 amos. But however, if they forced him out and he walked back on his own, then and he should only have 4 amos. So Ella Ema, rather, what was the halakha that Rav Nachman Amar Shmuel wanted to teach us? Ella Ema Yotza Ladas v'chzir Nachrim. Let's say this. Let's say he walked out on his own, right, his own power. He walked out, whatever, he forgot what he was doing. And then Nachrim, right, Goy found him and says, what are you going out of the shtetl? Then he forced him back, right? V'chzir Nachrim. Ein lo el dal amos. He only has 4 amos then, right? So even though he was forcibly brought back, since he left, right, his own das, therefore he's punished and he only has Daled amos. The Gemara says, no, Hanami Tanina. We also see that because it says Hotziu v'echziru. If they forced him out, then they forced him back, Kilu Lo Yatsa. Then it's like he never left. However, Hotziu v'echziru who the Kilu Lo Yatsa. It's only if they forced him out and brought him and forced him back. That's like he never left. Aval Yatsa Ladas. But if he went out Ladas, but if he went out on his own, and then returned him low, then he would not be. So the Gemara said, no, Ma'otim, what would you say? Let's start in Katani. Maybe you say, maybe it was 2 different ways. Katani, Misha Tzir Nachrim, V'chazul Ladas, Ein Lo El Dal Amos. Maybe you would have felt like this. If the Nachrim brought him out, and then he came back on his own, he only gets Daled amos. If Yatza Ladas V'chzir Nachrim, but if he went out on his own, then they brought him back, Kilu Lo Yatza. So Kamash Malon. Therefore, no, we see that he only gets Daled amos. So the halacha is basically like this: if he's forced out and forced back, then he can still move around. But if he leaves on his own, obviously wherever he goes, he only gets Daled amos. If he's forced out and walks back on his own, he still only gets Daled amos. And if he walks out and gets forced back, he also gets Daled amos. So the only time he comes back and he was left and he came back, that he's able to go ahead and get 2,000 amos to the way Shabbos started, if he was forced both ways. So a question was asked, Meirabba, let's say a person has to go to the bathroom, right? You can't go to the bathroom. You're within your Daled amos. What do you do? So, cover the brios. Right? Cover the brios is deicha lois has the Torah, and this is only the rabbanon. So certainly he can go ahead outside his Daled amos to go to the bathroom, right? So I'm in Hardi. Said in Hardi. So ipikechu ayel tchuma, right? And if he's smart, right? So you go to basically back to his tchum, and once he's there. So then he can stay over there. And Amara Papa says Rav Papa. Now, new case. Peiros, regarding fruits. If they were taken out of the chumah and brought back, afilu b'mezid, even purposely, lo hifsedu es mekama. Now, normally, an object has to be also within the tchum. All right. So maybe if the object leaves and comes back, maybe it only gets Daled amos. So we see over here that no, you can move it out throughout the tchum, throughout the 2,000 amos each direction. Lo hifsedu es mekama. They have not lost their space. My timer, what's the reason? Anusininu, right? Just like a person is forced to leave, so to the peiros, right? The peiros were quote unquote forced to leave. They were taken out, right? They didn't choose to leave, so therefore they can be removed throughout. So is that true? They say the only way they can go ahead and be moved around 2,000 amos is if they until they were brought back accidentally, right? Or b'shogeg. B'shogeg even b'mezi lo. It sounds like only b'shogeg, yes, but b'mezi lo if they were purposely brought back. In other words, purposely, basically, a prohibition was done with them, then they shouldn't be able to do it. So the Gemara says basically Tanahi. It's a machlokes Tanayim as to whether the fruits that were brought back, what is their status, or if they're taken out, what is their status? Let's see. Tatani with an Abraisa. Peiros sheyatzu chutz b'shogeg yoichlu b'mezid lo yoichlu. So fruits that went out outside the tchum b'shogeg, if they were taken out b'shogeg, we have to understand this case. Yoichlu, you can go ahead and eat them. All right, eat them l'chayra, right, where they were. We'll see. No, basically you take them outside the city. You can eat them there, b'shogeg. However, if you're taken out purposely and someone over there, they're brought to them, lo yoichlu, you can't eat it. Right, that was the first opinion. So in other words, the first opinion seems to be talking about how they were brought out to a new location. All right, so b'shogeg yoichlu. B'mezid lo yoichlu. If it was done accidentally, okay, fine, no problem. You didn't mean to do it. We're not punishing you. But if done b'mezid, then you can't eat it. That was the first opinion. Reb Nechemia, and by the way, this is actually Sunday's blot. We're planning to probably get halfway down. So Reb Nechemia oimer b'mkaiman yoichlu shalei b'mkaiman lo yoichlu. Reb Nechemia says only if they're in the original. You can only eat them in the original spot. Right, b'mkaiman. Right, basically they have to be brought back. Then you could eat them. Right, but they're taken out. And even accidentally, you can't take them out. Shalem come if they're not in this right place. Now, my b'mkaima. How did they get back to their spot? They were taken out. So how were they brought back? So if you're saying they were brought back b'mezid, and then that's what we're saying, you can still eat them. In other words, basically you knowingly did something wrong, right? You brought them back, right? That's okay. Right? We just said earlier, 3 lines, right? 3 lines on the bottom. We just said that the Tanaim, Rabbi Nechemia and Rabbi Eliezer ben Yaakov said that it's always usher unless they're returned b'shogeg. So how could you say, as long as they're returned b'mkaiman, even b'mezid, right? It can't be b'mezid because we see b'ferish b'mezid, right? B'shogeg even b'mezid lo. It's not b'shogeg yes and not mezid. So elav b'mkaiman b'shogeg rather means that if you take them out, right, and they come back b'shogeg, then you can go ahead and eat them. And really, it was missing a part of this. What it should have said. If payers were taken out outside of the chum, b'shogeg. If they were taken out b'shogeg yoichlu, b'mezid lo yoichlu. If they were taken out accidentally, then you can eat them where they're at. Right. This is the first opinion. Right. B'shogeg. Excuse me. B'shogeg. If you take them out accidentally, then they can go ahead and be eaten there. B'mezid. If you took them out purposely and then eaten there, lo yoichlu. B'medvar murim shalem koma. We're only talking about eating over there. Avabim kaiman, but when you go ahead and bring them back, afilu b'mezid yoichlu. Even if they're brought back b'mezid, you can eat it. In other words, if they were taken out b'shogeg, right, or b'mezid, you can't. That ends over there. But if they're brought back, even b'mezid, you can eat it. And on that, Rabbi Nechemia says no. Afilim kaiman nami. Even with bringing it back, right, it's only b'shogeg b'mezid lo. Only dafka b'shogeg and not b'mezid. Now the Gemara says lo. Maybe that's not the pshat. Maybe that's not what b'mkaiman means. Maybe when you return it, it means b'mezid b'mkaiman the kuli amalei pligi d'aser. Maybe everybody, even the Tanakama, holds that if you bring it back b'mezid, right, that you violate, right, by bringing it back, kuli amalei pligi d'aser. Everyone holds you can't eat it. It's aser. Over here, they're only talking about, right, if it was brought back to another place, right. B'shogeg, right? B'shogeg shleim kaiman pligi. Right? The Tanakama. So the Tanakama held b'shogeg shari shleim kaiman. Tanakama held that what? That if they were taken out b'shogeg, you could eat it in the new place, right? They're taken out accidentally, you can eat it there. Reb Nechemia saber afilu b'shogeg, even if it was b'shogeg kaiman in shleim kaiman lo. If you take it out b'shogeg to one location, you can't go ahead and eat it in that new location. The only way for it to be eaten is if you take it out b'shogeg and it's returned b'shogeg. But if it's taken out b'shogeg, you still can't go ahead and eat it in that place. The Gemara says, the Sefer says, Rabbi Nechemia, Rabbi Eliezer ben Yaakov, Aimrim, liyolam asurim achi yachzur l'kaman shogin, right? Shogin b'mezid lo, right? So you see what I mean? It says over there they're always usher until you return it b'shogeg. Sounds like b'shogeg, b'mezid lo, mechlal. And who's he talking to? He's arguing the Tanakama mechlal. The Tanakama suburb. It must be the Tanakama holds that b'mezid nami shari. Then even if it was b'mezid, right, you can go ahead and eat it. So shma mina, it must be that according to the first opinion, right, if it was that according to Tanakh would hold that if you brought it back, you can still go ahead and eat it even if it was done b'mesid. And finally, one last halacha, an Amar of Nachman Amar Shmuel, Hayom Mahalech Ve'eno Yodeh Tchum Shabbos, a person who was going and all of a sudden Shabbos started and he doesn't know what the end of his Tchum Shabbos is, he didn't measure out before. Mahalech Alpayim Psias Beinonis. He can go ahead and walk 2,000 average steps, Zoe Tchum Shabbos, because basically an average step, a smaller step, is basically the size of an amma, right? Your foot plus basically is like a half an amma, and a step is a half amma. So the two of them together is basically you have 2,000 steps in each direction. We'll stop here. We'll pick up here. So on, I guess, on Tzom Gedalia, which would be Monday. But everyone should have a good Yontif and stay safe. And good Yor and a Gemara Chasima Tova. Chasima Tova.